Good afternoon. Is going to address some of the things we're going to be doing in the first week of quarter 4. So first you'll notice that I took weeks 1 through 10 and I've condensed them into this folder here. So you can still access all of those assignments. So if there's any you didn't do yet and would still like to do them, you have until Friday to do so. So my grades are due Monday. Ideally, I'd like to have everything done by Wednesday or Thursday so I can catch up on any stragglers or any extending circumstances. But everything from quarter 3 is still accessible in this folder. I just got it out of the way so you can focus on this half now. So if you go into the week 11 folder, you'll see the 3 things that are going to be due this week. So this one's going to be due on Thursday, and these 2 are due on Sunday. The first link here is this rhetorical device link. So this is going to open up this Google slide presentation, which addresses all of the rhetorical devices that we're going to be addressing in this unit. So ideally, for the face-to-face kids, this is the persuasive speech unit. However, I'm still kind of deciding if I want to have you record something. More likely, I will probably have you do a speech analysis, just because I think that's ultimately more effective, and I don't think you recording a video is really an effective way of you practicing public speaking. However, what the focus is more so in this unit is identifying what makes a speech good. So I will probably have you analyze a speech. I'll maybe give you some options. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to take some time this week to figure that out, and that assignment will be due next week sometime. But for now, you have this PowerPoint, which goes through all of these rhetorical devices. So for each one, it'll give you the definition of what it is, and then it'll have a couple of slides that give you examples. So you'll find examples for all of the more difficult ones. Some of the easier ones, like similes and metaphors, you won't have examples for, but you can find those anywhere. And then on some of the slides, what they'll do is they'll give you an example here where we have one where repetition is not used and then one where it is used, so you can kind of see the difference. So you'll look through these, and this is the definition for all of these devices that you'll need. So if we go back here, then I'm going to be looking at 3 assignments this week. So this first one, which should be a review because I think you learned these things in 9th grade, ethos, pathos, and logos, which is Aristotle's 3 means of persuasion. They're all defined for you here. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch some of these embedded YouTube videos here, and then you're going to try to find examples of these in each of those speeches. So again, you can you have to watch at least 2 of the videos, but you have to provide 1 example of each of these things. So this is just kind of an easy way to jump into this. It's a review, so I didn't want to have you do anything too crazy. But some of these speeches are some of my favorite movie speeches, so you can look through those. The next assignment, these 2 are due in the same day. They're kind of similar assignments, but they're looking at different devices. So we'll look at Lincoln's inaugural address first. These are pretty straightforward. So you're going to have to identify, first of all, deciding the purpose of the author's or the speaker's speech is always very important. So you want to identify that first. So what's the purpose of his address? Then I want to have you pull out examples of both parallel sentence structure and alliteration. You can find examples of those on that Google slide presentation. And then in paragraphs 2 and 3, on this link here, this will link you to the actual speech. He uses 2 examples of anaphora. So first, identify them, and then explain how they help contribute to the effect of his speech, which you'll have identified up here. So the important part is not only being able to identify these devices, but also explain why they're there. So they don't just use them for fun. Typically, they use them to strengthen their speech. So there's the first assignment. And then you're going to read Patrick Henry's speech at the Virginia Convention here, and you're going to do a little more amorphous prompt here, but identify 3 of these 4. So aphorism, allusion, analogy, and rhetorical questions. So choose 3 of those, identify them, explain how they help strengthen his speech. So again, not only do you have to identify them, but explain how they help convey his purpose. So to do that first, though, you have to figure out why he is giving this speech. All right, so consider historical context. There's a little historical blurb at the beginning of this link anyway, which kind of helps you out. But pick 3 of these, identify them, and then explain why he does them. All right, so consider historical context, consider his audience, and why these things would have been effective. Make sure you open your response with a clear statement about what his desired purpose is. So Patrick Henry gave this speech to blah, 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 explain, and then identify the devices and explain. So these are things you're going to have to pick out for the final speech assessment. When we do something like that, I'm going to try to find something a little more modern for you. I know these are typically old and a little stuffy, but they were kind of masters of rhetoric, so they're good examples to look at. So we'll start from there, and then next week we'll look at a couple more modern examples, and I'll probably have you look at a TED Talk or 2 because those are usually pretty enjoyable. But that's all you got for this week. Stay tuned for a couple things. So like I said, we are going to do something with the book talk this quarter. So I'll make a post about those soon so you can come by and pick up your notes. But that won't be until next week. I'm still finishing up quarter 3 grading, so I don't want to worry about that yet. And then also vocab will go up next week, but I'm going to give you the whole length of the quarter to finish those. So the due dates will be a little broader, so you'll probably have about 2 weeks to do each one. So you'll have a little bit more time between those vocab assignments. They are going to be the same as last time, though. You'll just be working with different units. So towards the end of this week, I'll get that folder up, but they're not up there now. So I hope that's helpful. If you have questions, swing by and let me know.